I was 17 and had already given up on everything. My parents were going through a messy divorce, my grades were tanking, and I'd started cutting classes to sit in my car and contemplate whether anyone would actually miss me if I was gone. The answer, I was pretty sure, was no. Mrs. Patterson wasn't even supposed to be my teacher. She was just a substitute, filling in for Mr. Johnson, who'd had a heart attack. Most subs just put on a movie and collected their paycheck. But not her. On her first day, she walked into our chaotic English classroom and said something that stopped me cold. I know some of you think you're invisible, but I see you. She was looking right at me when she said it. I'd perfected the art of being invisible, sitting in the back corner, hood up, never making eye contact. I'd gotten so good at it that most teachers forgot I existed. But Mrs. Patterson had a way of calling on me, gently but persistently. Not to embarrass me, but like she actually cared what I thought. The first time she handed back an essay, mine had a note at the top, "You have a powerful voice. Don't let anyone silence it." I almost threw it away. Compliments felt like lies back then. But something made me keep it, folded in my wallet, like a secret. Then came the day that changed everything. I'd been having a particularly bad morning. Dad had moved out the night before, and Mum was pretending everything was fine while crying into her coffee. I walked into English planning to ask for a bathroom pass and never come back. Maybe drive somewhere far away, or maybe something more permanent. Mrs. Patterson was reading our essays aloud anonymously, and suddenly I heard my words, my actual words, being read to the class. It was a piece about feeling trapped, about wanting to disappear. I'd written it at 3 a.m. in a moment of raw honesty, never thinking anyone would actually read it. But the way she read it like it mattered. Like I mattered. When she finished, the classroom was silent. Then Jennifer, one of the popular girls, said quietly, "Whoever wrote that?" I felt that. I really felt that. Marcus, who usually just cracked jokes, nodded. "Yeah, that's real." For the first time in months, I didn't feel alone. After class, Mrs. Patterson asked me to stay behind. I thought I was in trouble, but she just said, "That was beautiful writing, Priya." And more importantly, it was honest. The world needs your honesty. I don't know what came over me, but I found myself telling her everything. About my parents, about the constant fighting, about how I felt like I was drowning and no one had noticed. About the thoughts I'd been having lately, the dark ones that scared me. She listened without judgment, without trying to fix everything with empty platitudes. When I finished, she said, "You know what I heard in your essay? I heard someone who feels deeply, who sees the world clearly, who has something important to say. That's not a curse, Priya. That's a gift." And she did something that surprised me. She told me about her own son who'd struggled with depression in high school, how she'd almost lost him, but how he'd found his way through with help and time and the right people believing in him. "He's a social worker now," she said. "Uses his pain to help other kids who are going through what he went through. Pain isn't permanent, Priya, but the strength you build fighting through it, that lasts forever." She helped me call the school counselor. She stayed with me during that first terrifying conversation. She checked in on me every day after that. Not in a pushy way, just a quick, "How are you holding up?" Or leaving articles about writers who'd overcome depression on my desk. Slowly, things started to change. The counseling helped, writing more helped. But what helped most was having someone believe in me when I couldn't believe in myself. Mrs. Patterson was only supposed to be our substitute for 2 weeks. Mr. Johnson recovered and came back, but she'd already changed my life. She started an after-school writing group that I joined. She helped me apply to colleges, wrote my recommendation letters, and cheered louder than anyone when I got into my first choice. But the biggest change was in how I saw myself. I wasn't broken or worthless or invisible. I was a writer. I was someone with something to say. I was someone worth saving. 10 years later, I'm a published author. My first book was about teen mental health, and I've gotten letters from kids all over the world saying it helped them feel less alone. I dedicated it to Mrs. Patterson, but more than that, I try to live by her example. I volunteer at the local high school now, working with kids who remind me of myself at 17. Last week, a girl named Sophie, who sits in the back corner with her hood up, wrote an essay about feeling invisible. I wrote at the top, "You have a powerful voice. Don't let anyone silence it." Because sometimes all it takes is one person to see you, really see you, to change everything. Mrs. Patterson taught me that we're all just walking each other home. And sometimes the most important thing we can do is notice when someone is struggling with their journey. She saved my life by simply believing it was worth saving. And now, whenever I meet a kid who thinks they're invisible, I make sure they know. I see you, and your story matters.